Evening, everyone. We're going to get started. Thanks for joining us. I know your time is valuable, so we always appreciate folks when they come. This is probably our fourth or fifth uh, town hall around the budget. We'll probably have we have one tomorrow in mid-afternoon. If you know folks that couldn't make the evening one, there's one that's going to happen. I believe it's 1 o'clock tomorrow. And we'll have one when we return from spring break as well. So let's dive into this. We don't want to take up too much of your time. We've been sharing this at town halls, community conversations, at board meetings. We've been holding mini budget meetings as well um, over the last month, trying to get as much input as possible. We've also started our first budget advisory council, which is about 29 to 30 community members who've been working with us on the budget, getting some input from them. That model we plan on continuing for the next couple of years. As you know, we've been doing community conversations, then we do town halls. And then if an issue does pop up, I think we're going to move to a advisory council model. It's worked really well with the budget, so I think we'll continue with that framework. So as you can see, we'll talk about the budget development process, projected revenue, enrollment, expenditures, tax impact, as well as budget calendar. As I just noted, we've been trying to be as transparent as possible, getting as much information out to folks as we can, whether that's questions or whether that's surveys. As I noted also, whether that's in-person meetings or virtual meetings, we've been doing a lot of work around getting things out to the public. There's a calendar that is typical for every school district. As you can see, we have to adopt the budget on April 24th at our board meeting. That is statewide. It happens in every school district, and that's currently what we're working on. It is a work in progress. We will continue to work in progress and collect input as we move forward. So our preliminary budget was submitted to the county on March 19th. Final budget is due at the end of April, as I noted. April after the board approves on April 24th, it then goes to the county. It will continue to be a work in progress as we move along. As you can see, we have pulled up the projected revenue sheet. As many of you noted, and as I have discussed with many of you, not a lot of revenues for public school districts. You'll note the local tax revenues are the largest, looking at about and you'll also see enrollment and healthcare adjustments. We are predicted to grow in student population according to the New Jersey Department of Education state software. We are predicted to grow somewhere in the realm of about 200 students next year. So this budget encapsulates that as well. You will see our state aid as well, and then you'll see the various title monies such as IDEA, which is for our special services students. We were told this time around as we were developing our budget to only budget up to 70% for federal funding such as IDEA and title. So that is what we did. We also were instructed to be careful as we move forward in regards to state aid. This year, we did receive an increase in state aid of about $600,000. As you have read in the headlines across the state, there are many districts that were hit hard and did not receive any increase at all. So we are thankful for that. However, as we put out in memos and also during these meetings, the state formula does not really support South Orange Maplewood School District. So we have done a lot of advocacy over the last couple months. We've gone down to Trenton. We're also working with both municipalities around doing some advocacy down in Trenton. We've sent out memos and urging our community members to write their local legislators around the state funding formula. We are hoping that the state will make some sort of adjustment moving forward over the next few years. We are anticipating a very tight budget for 25, 26, also 26, 27, 27, 28, and 28, 29. It'll be extremely lean years. We are hoping that the state will realize and see all the districts that are currently struggling and make some revisions on their current funding formula. That is the hope. But as we've been discussing at these meetings, we are expecting a fiscal cliff. We will be able to budget our balance for our budget for 25, 26. Our struggle will be 26, 27, 27, 28, as noted, in a few years moving forward. So we are literally looking at every budget line. Being new to the district, along with our business administrator and assistant business administrator, we were thrown into the situation where we had the opportunity to reframe the 24 and 25 budget and also then transition into the development of the 25-26 budget. And we used a zero-based framework. That means we looked at every line item as we developed this budget, which opened the door for us in regards to new findings, some aha moments. We were able to capture some savings just by that process. And then we started meeting with team members, we started meeting with schools, we started meeting with students, we started putting out surveys to parents and collecting that data and using all that knowledge to really develop our 25-26 budget. As you can see, our revenue right here, our largest part of that revenue is local tax levy. We had a lot of questions, especially with what's been happening at the federal level. How much federal funding do we receive directly? We receive a little more than $2 million federal funding. Some of that federal funding does go directly to the state and then goes through us through title funds. And as I noted in the previous slide, we were instructed by the state to only allocate 70% of those funds for the 25-26 budget. You will see an enrollment, and as I noted, our budget software from the state is showing that we will be increasing in student population, somewhere in the realm of 200 students, and this budget does encapsulate that information. There are middle schools, our enrollment for elementaries, and you'll see an overall trend. As you can see, we had a huge drop, as many districts did during the pandemic. We are slowly working our way up from those numbers, and as noted, we're expecting an increase of students as per NJDOE, or New Jersey Department of Education. Let's look at our expenditures. As you can see, the largest piece of that pie in our district, and as well as any district you go to, is salaries at about $82 million. Obviously, also our benefits are our cost center as well. As you can also see, our special services is also a large cost center for us. Our transportation as well. So we are looking, as we noted, at every line item, and we're also looking at our partner private contracts. For many of you know this, we are privatized for almost every department in the district. That's custodial and maintenance, that's transportation, that's food services, that's security and safety. So most of our large monies are privatized. So we've been going through every contract with a fine tooth comb, seeing if we could make some adjustments and also doing some negotiations. We just had finished negotiations with our paraprofessional uh, private vendor. Our paraprofessionals currently are at about $10 million, which is a very large amount. We just finished up negotiations with them today, and I think we got a positive outcome. We will know for sure tomorrow, but we all walked away from that meeting very positive. That it'll have a positive impact on this upcoming budget. Uh, as noted, aside from what we were told from the DOE in regards to budgeting only 70% for title funding, we also are finishing up negotiation for two large contracts, which is our teachers and our administrators. So we are currently working on that. We also had increases in health benefits of around 15%. We had increases in utilities, 15%, increases in insurance costs for 15%, about a 5% increase in custodial. As noted, we are privatized in that area. And just based on visible trends and projecting, we had to look at every single private contract we had to make sure we were getting the most out of it and to make sure everything in that contract is what we needed. So we've been doing that work for over 4.5, 5 months right now. Now, one of our biggest issues as a school district, obviously, as noted previously, we do not have a lot of revenue streams. We have a 2% cap, and inflation and rates keep going up. So it doesn't take a lot of math to figure out as we start moving forward, if our state aid continues to pretty much remain flat, it is going to be very lean years. That's why we are being as transparent as possible now and plan on working with as many community members and looking for some innovative solutions for possible challenges in the coming future. One of the mandates we were given by the board this year was really not to touch any student-facing programs. We were able to do that, as well as not to reduce in force, which we are very happy to say we did not have to reduce any staff. Also, tuition for many of you. So as inflation increases, so do our vendors of out-of-district tuition. So those have increased. Also, the demand for services after we reviewed all of our audits as well as our special service numbers has increased. The out-of-district tuition, in addition to out-of-district transportation, is quite expensive. So internally, we are working on some of our protocols and practices to hopefully lower our out-of-district numbers in regards to bettering the customer service we are giving to our community members. We are also adding an additional child study team because right now our caseloads for our current child study teams are around 70 or plus, which we feel are a little too large at the moment. So bringing in a new team will reduce those numbers, also allow our child study team members to better communicate with parents. So we are hoping that sort of work and investment will help reduce our out-of-district placement tuitions in addition to transportation. Oftentimes, the out-of-district transportation is more expensive than the tuition. Right now, we have out-of-district tuition. The most we are paying right now is about $220,000. They can start at $50,000 and go all the way to $225,000. So the better our special education department becomes, we believe it will minimize the out-of-district placements. And as many of you know, we have a new assistant superintendent of special services, and that is what she has been tasked with and working with. So we are very happy about the work she has been doing. We have been also extending and expanding our continuum of services. which has enabled us to bring in about 6 to 7 current out of district students back into the district. So we'll continue to do practices such as that um, to bring back our students. For transportation, as you all know, I mean, there's been a bus driver shortage going on about 3 years right now, but there also was an increase in funding and transportation for the anticipated growth in the current contract was about 3.5%. We've been exploring different transportation options, including a hub system. We have another year to continue to look at our current transportation numbers. What we currently have in the budget is exactly what we had for the 24-25 school year. So the transportation costs have slightly reduced. We looked at some routes and slightly reduced those. We'll continue to work on that, but we're looking at no major changes in our transportation in 25-26. We are looking at various options for 26-27. We've had a town hall tour around a hub system, which are just larger bus stops that we could possibly place anywhere from 0.5 to 1 mile away from a student's home. But again, that is a work in progress. We are currently in the discovery phase, and that will not be implemented for 25-26. That is just exploration right now. We've been, as noted, reevaluating all the district routes. We continue to do that. We have a wonderful transportation person that we've been going back and forth with in regards to optimizing bus sizes, our travel routes, and also capacity. So we've also upgraded our software in regards to transportation that has helped really make more of our routes a lot more efficient. We'll continue to do that work. Our slides versus expenditures versus revenue, as you can see. Challenges, as we did note, we came into this budget year knowing that our reserves were utilized to balance the budget in the past couple of years. Reserves are savings, which is a worry point for us right now. The reserves were utilized in our fund balance a few times over the last years to balance our budget and also to maintain some of our buildings, leaving our amounts in our savings quite low. So this year we froze our budget in January. Out of that freezing, we were able to recoup anywhere from about $8 to $9 million that we're hoping to utilize and allocate for the 25-26 fiscal year budget. With only 2 months of school yet left, we believe we will be able to utilize that money for 25-26 and build up those savings that I talked about, and we'll continue to try and build those savings as we move forward. Also, in order to address urgent maintenance needs, as many of you know, I've had this conversation with many of our families. Some of our buildings are not in very good shape. We are very proud to say that we did not reduce any of facilities budget. We are still moving forward with some of the bigger projects that need to be done and maintenance projects. One of the projects that we are currently working on, as noted in a few of my memos, is the Columbia High School auditorium. We are currently in the middle of putting up new rigging, and during the summer we will be putting up new electric and lighting. So we're very happy that we're able to work on that project and make it part of our budget. Also, as noted in bullet 3, you'll see along with a $6.89 million in audited fund balance that budgeted for use in 25-26 fiscal year by the prior administration, the resulting fund balance decline between 2025 and 26 is projected to be about 13.8. As noted, our reserves fund balance are a bit low. So we're hoping that that 9 million that I just noted, we will be able to carry over and build that up. But over the next few years, we have to continue to build up that fund balance and our reserves to make sure we are stable. Going back to reserves, as noted, you can see what I just read the narrative on our reserves and where we currently stand. We should be at a minimum of 2% of our budget. Most districts are anywhere maintain around 2 to 4%. So as noted, that is something that we are currently working on. That is the reason why we froze the budget in January, and we're able to recoup anywhere from about 8 to 9 million, which half of that will be going towards contract work, as I noted previously, and then a little bit, some of that will be going towards building up our reserves. Budget challenges, as we've already discussed. How do we try to reduce our expenses? Vendor contract optimization, unfilled vacant positions that are unneeded. We took off the books, retirements, as well as using internal transfers moving forward to fill true vacancies where we need to fill. We have some increases in revenue, 2%, obviously tax levy, enrollment adjustment. We received 850,000, as I did note. The state is expecting about 200 more students for South Orange Maplewood School District in 25-26. Extraordinary aid of 500,000. Again, extraordinary aid is for our students with high disabilities. Increase in state aid of 619, as I noted. We were fortunate enough not to be hit like many other districts in the area, such as West Orange, with a decrease in state aid, and an increase in preschool revenue of about 1 million. Our estimated school tax impact is on the screen, as you can see. One of our larger issues over the last few years, our last capital project, and I'll move to that slide for you all. So our last capital project bond, the monies were placed in an account. The account accumulated a high interest rate, and unfortunately, we are not allowed to collect any of those high interest rate monies, and those monies have to be given back to the IRS, which is a very large hit for us, somewhere in the realm of a little more than $3 million. It was unexpected, obviously, just coming into the district and realizing that this was our last year to carry over that bond, and that any monies made on interest had to be returned to the IRS immediately. So that was a big punch in the gut for us moving forward. You can see the issue date of the current active bonds. You'll see from 2014 to 2024. Our latest projects, that capital project will be completed by September 2025. So the latest capital project we've been working on, the additions to the schools, the new HVAC systems, that project will be completed by September 2025. Our last school to hit is the South Orange Maplewood School District. I'm sorry, South Orange Maplewood Middle School. South Orange Middle School. It's been a long day. South Orange Middle School. They are the last school to get the upgraded HVAC. They're also getting new fire alarm system and also some infrastructure in regards to wiring. Once they are completed, I think there's only one or two small projects at Columbia High School, which again should also be completed by September 2025. Some budget highlights. Again, 2.5 million maintenance reserves used for one-time projects in the district to make sure our buildings are acceptable learning ecosystems for our students. We will continue to work in improving our building structure. We are at the beginning of writing a new 5-year long-range facility plan. We are almost finished with the discovery stage, which included our architects doing walkthroughs of all of our buildings, interviewing all of our principals, interviewing our senior leadership team, working with our board, interviewing our students, also developing surveys that were sent out to our teachers in addition to our parents. So all that information is now being collected. It's being put into an Excel sheet that will be presented to our board committee in a month or two. And then the board will need to start prioritizing where we want to be over the next 5 years. Top of the list right now, as I did note, are our stages, our auditoriums. Our most used stages are Columbia High School, Maplewood Middle School, and South Orange Middle School. I noted that in this budget, we are making our repairs to our Columbia High School rigging and electric this summer. Our next step will be looking at our Maplewood Middle School and South Orange Middle School staging and looking at their rigging and looking at their lighting. Right now, the Columbia High School project will cost somewhere in the realm, once it is completed, around $3.5 million. We reprioritized additional projects in working with the BOCE, the Board of Taxation. We just had a meeting with them this week. We all believe it went very well, just to really discuss, go over this presentation, and also look at what our future needs may be moving forward. We were very clear with them that we will not be bonding anything moving forward for the 25-26 school year. We will be looking at partnering with the state around energy savings, which is called ESIP for the state. As you all know, and as I've spoken to many of you, that is an area of growth for the district, whether it's solar, whether it's lighting. We have some opportunities there to really save a good portion of monies. So we'll be working with the state around an ESIP, which is an energy savings project that starts with an energy audit. And we'll be sharing that with our communities as we move forward and getting some input around that. Restructuring and redistributing vendor contracts, as I noted and discussed. And we did not budget for unfilled vacancy positions when the demand is not present. And we're very proud to say that we have no reduction in staff this year. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Again, we know you're extremely busy. I'll quickly ask Mr. Bonds if we have any questions. I haven't seen any.
Yes, there are a few questions. The assistant BA has been answering some of them, but I'll read some of the ones that haven't been answered yet. Somebody said, can you provide a high-level breakdown of the most recent tax levy increase? What percentage was allocated to a student transportation versus what portion went to debt repayment or non-student services?
Yep, Andrew, you wanna, what slide is that?
Probably like 3 or 4 more up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go, right there.
Let me pull it down. There you go.
So, as Mr. Bing noted, the general fund operating tax levy increased by 2.62%, which is a combination of two things. It's a 2% on the annual tax levy, and then we had an enrollment waiver of around $800,000, which that was the 0.62. Also, as Mr. Bing noted, this year the district got hit with an arbitrage yield restriction liability, which basically summarizes we earn more interest than what we were borrowing at. And since our investment company, as a school district, we are not tax free, so we have to pay that money back to the IRS. For the last 4 or 5 years, the district has been lucky enough to take the interest that we were earning on the bonds, and that kept the tax levy for debt service reduced. But due this year in 25, 26, that's when the money is due back to the IRS. And this is the only way the district is eligible to pay the referendum money back to the district. So that's why it increased by 61%. Which is substantially higher than the previous year. I think last year's was around 5 million. But going back in history, I think in 2022, 23, the debt service tax levy was around $8 million. So it definitely fluctuates. But in the next couple of years, it will be around that much money until the bonds are paid back.
Thank you, Andrew. Go ahead, Keith.
The next question was, do we qualify for debt service aid?
Yes, we do. This year we get around, I think, 2.8 million in debt service state aid. So the bond payments were 13 million, and we got around 2.8 for debt service tax levy or debt service aid. So the remaining is split through debt service tax levy.
Go ahead, Keith. Thanks, Andrew.
Okay, that's all of the questions. Mr. Zabiga answered the remainder of the questions in the chat panel.
Thank you all. Please feel free to reach out to me. You all know my email, jbing@somsd.k12.nj.us. We'll continue to be as transparent as possible with this budget moving forward. As noted, we do have a 1 o'clock repeat of this on Friday, and then we'll also offer one more before our budget is approved by our board on April 24th. So please join us, or please send me any questions if your question was not answered tonight. Again, I think one of the things I do want to acknowledge is the fact that we will not have a reduction in force. Also want to note that our transportation will pretty much stay the same. We'll be making some minor adjustments, but the hub system that was noted, and I've talked to many of you about, that is something that is only in the development stage. And if it is something we move forward with after we talk and get input from the community, it's something that would only happen in 26, 27. So I do want to thank everybody for joining us. I know your time is valuable. Again, if we did not answer any questions or if something pops up tonight or tomorrow morning, please send me an email and I'll get right back to you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We look forward to a successful budget approval on the 24th, and we want to wish everybody a very happy and healthy spring break.